Time to die.
So I'm back with another discussion video. I'm not going to call them instructionals anymore. Just a discussion video on approaching with Nina, whether you're fighting a turtler or situations where you need to close the gap, or someone who is very defensive and has a really good backdash. I've set the CPU to Zafina for various reasons. Off topic, I think this is Nina's worst matchup in the game, Zafina. Um, so rightfully so, dealing with closing the gap and turtling. I think this is the perfect character to visually see, as I explain this very quickly. I'm not going to be here all day like I usually am. um, so some things you want to do. So I'm going to talk about the defensive thing that you should do with every character. This isn't Nina specific, but you want to dash block. And I know people say all the time, dash blocking online is a myth. Well, most of the time what people are doing, they're tapping back. Tapping back isn't blocking. What you want to do when you dash block, hold back. And you see how I slowly close the gap. And I think the reason why most people don't dash block this way online is impatience. Usually up there where you see the infinite, well, the numerical sign for infinity. Usually it's 60 seconds up there. That's a lot of time to deplete these health bars with all the damage that each character has to dish out. Uh, so dash blocking this way, you actually aren't wasting time. You're gonna have time to get in and figure out ways to deal damage. So that's so we're clear. Dash, hold back. This also requires you getting your timing of your opponent. I know a lot of us are frustrated online because we get a lot of one and dones. It's just the nature of the other player base. It is what it is. But that is how you should dash block online. So that is the quickest way to close a gap. But let's say you're about right here. There's not much Nina can do. So I'm gonna state the obvious. QCF3. That is the obvious. And honestly, that is the best choice to start with. Closing the gap with not with QCF3. I'm gonna tell you why. You're doing a launch punish below, so if they block it, they get more damage off you versus if you land QCF3 on hit on normal hit, that is. And plus QCF3 on normal hit, it's okay because you're neutral on hit, so you can't really do anything after that. So for you, it's just an okay approach to use to close in the gap. But the reason why I always typically, eventually one of my first couple of choices to close the gap is QCF3, is because about right here, if they're like flash ducking, because they buffed the range of down back 3+4, I can close the gap with that and get a launch. Yes, I know this is minus 19. Wait, is it minus 19 on block? Hold on. I think it's about that. I think it's about minus. Ugh. I can't talk. I think it is about minus 19 on block. Minus 17. So yeah, I know it's minus 17 on block, and pretty much everybody can punish that with their standing launcher. However, so game, go for it. Everybody wants to play so safe all the time with Nina, and I think that's the reason why these Nina instructionals are doing so well. Like a couple hundred views or close to 100 views for the breakdowns of certain topics, and the actual instructional is actually close to 300 views for this very small channel. And I think that's where the misstep is. Y'all play so safe with this character. A lot of people say, you know, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. If you listen to the people who do not play Nina, that's your problem. I play Nina. So do this to get in, and yes, that's launch punishable. But you saw how it closed the back. It closes the gap. Excuse me. And then mix in that both of them are launch punishable. Just game a little bit. Yeah, you know, it's high risk, high reward with that. Um, but the reason why I want you guys to consider doing this approach early on, because people remember you doing stupid shit, and the reason why it's important to get the stupid shit on out the way so you can approach respectively and you won't get it sidestepped. So another way to closing the gap is QCF2. QCF2 is completely linear to sidestep left, I believe. So if you step this to the left, it will completely. If you step this to the left, it will completely whiff. That is bad. See? No effort. I think even on hit and you know on minus frames. Yep. I think a jab is like, you know, +5 on hit or +7. Oh yeah. Don't even have to think about it. But it's a respectable way to approach because it's not launch punishable and it's quote unquote safe, right? This is why it's good to mix in some of the launch punishable stuff because they track a little bit. See? You know, the launch punishable stuff tracks a little bit better. I don't track so good. But that's the way you used to have to approach it. Now, since they buffed her 1+4 to where you can do it while you're dashing or while running, this is a lot better because it tracks. See? Set her to guard all. Still pretty bad. That's insanely bad. This is also Zafina, which I told you is, I feel, Nina's worst matchup. But for most of the characters online, you're gonna fight a Brian. So let's switch to Brian here. Okay, I set the CPU to Brian. Again, he's a popular character, and I always suggest labbing things versus popular characters first. And then labbing things once you run into that particular character that you don't see that often later on. Online, you're going to see Brian way more than you do Safina, so Brian can't step this. But he can step QCF2. There we go. No, not that. Oh, oh no. Huh? Show me something new. But the point was he can't step 1+4. After, what is this? How about +1? You know, can't step it, and he definitely can't step it on hit. I would opt for this to be your main safe approach mid. Simply because when you're like right here and you want to run in, you can do that while running, and because it does track very well, you're least likely to whiff. And then you get whiff punish and you get launching you in the air. That's if you try to approach, you know, not that, but QCF2 as you're trying to dash and run in. Aside from that, when you're at a distance and when you're getting turtled, I already mentioned dash blocking, but what if you're anticipating your opponent to do a button? Because that's the whole reason they're turtling you, right? So they can do a whip punish. Well, Nina is top two Sway characters in the game. I would say Fang is the best Sway character, and then after that it'll be Nina, Paul, then Lee. I just feel when it comes to implementing the Sway mechanic, I think Paul and Lee fall short versus Fang, who isn't technically a Sway character, but that back tempo is might as well be a Sway tool, and because he can cancel it so quickly, that's the reason why I group them in together. But for a true Sway character, Nina is better because you can. While I was rambling, what you can do is you can dash and then sway, sway step, dash, side step, sway. That sway is going to make sure that whatever your opponent wants to do, it's going to make sure that that move whiffs, and therefore you can whip punish them with 12 the new 12 frame move back on the floor. That's really good if you don't think it's going to launch, or if you're like me and you like YOLO, since she was going to launch me anyway. A side step back sway 4 for her backswing blow, just to reverse the whip punish. And this is something true to only Nina can do, because Lee's backsway is not as evasive. Like, look how far back down Nina goes. Paul's backsway doesn't go that deep. You see what I'm saying? So when you're dashing in and you do this, whatever they thought they're gonna do, it's not gonna hit Nina. If you dash, in and do a little side step back sway, whatever they thought they were gonna do, the side step is gonna hopefully make it whip, and then the back sway will definitely make it whip. This will work with about 90-95% of the roster. Characters with long range homing moves and great hitboxes on the moves aren't going to work. So I showed earlier Zafina, her homing move is really good. This isn't going to really work on her. For her, you have to actually dash block. The big characters, including Fok, it's not necessarily going to work on them as well, because their long range moves have incredibly good hitboxes. But for the rest of the cast, a dash and side step backsway, it's gonna force them to whip, and now you're back in control. You're back at advantage because they tried to be, overly defensive and cheeky online, because it's said that it's virtually impossible to dash block online, so that's why they do it. And now what they didn't plan on, dealing with, which is a sway character. The next thing to deal with when it comes to closing the gap with Nina's jab range is incredibly poor. So most people will just backdash after. See? And I mentioned this. And so now your launch punishable because that whip. So what you want to do is keep holding forward into your moves. And that'll make sure your moves at least connect. When you're facing a character with a great backdash built into it, Zafina, an Alyssa, a Kuni, Dragonov's backdash is really good. Lars has a good backdash. Shaheen has a above average backdash. It could be really hard even to connect a move, even though you're holding forward. You see what I'm saying? Like right there, my first jab whip. But thanks to the player base and the most universal player input for backdash, most people back QC back. Nina's gonna back sway, but non-sway characters will. And we all know in Nina's back sway, if you hold QC back, automatically you block lows, right? But for regular characters who aren't sways, oh, I forget Brian's a sway character too. I don't know why I always forget Brian's a sway character. But even, I would say Nina sway is a lot better than Brian's, because like I said, Brian don't get this low. But yeah, since most people are doing QC back, they're not gonna block a low. So you can do that, and you can literally hard wipe the floor if that's so what you choose to do. It's gonna make them backdash duck, which is back down back, which is the way you're supposed to backdash, right? So now on the backdash, you can just do 1+4. I know both of them are launch punishable, but as I said prior to, people remember the dumb stuff. The dumb stuff makes them hard duck. You can't twitch duck wipe the floor. It's gonna hit you. You can't twitch duck launch because you're gonna get launched. You have to actually hold back, right? So you do the dumb stuff, and then her down back 3, you can do that in peace. Down back 3 is 20 frame startup, just like wipe the floor as a 20 frame startup. Or you can, use that down 2 buff. It's a 20 frame move versus a 20 frame move. They aren't of the same animation, but because Nina's lows are so slow, you can't like twitch duck or flash low parry them. They're gonna hit you because they're inherently slower. Because on eye application of this, it looks like I'm doing like a 17 frame, 17 to 18 frame move, but they're all 20 frames. So that's gonna force them to just block low, and this isn't that bad unless you're versus a 2D with a meter or a Kazuya. That'll get launch punished, and down 2 being -12. You just got to deal with a little wild standing 4 there, or if you're facing a 2D, unfortunately, they could launch you with a DP. But it's getting your opponent to stop fuzzying and commit. So if they're gonna hard duck, and I wouldn't do down for one if they're backdashing. You can do your 1+4. That's the mid poke I'm thinking of. Excuse me, y'all. You can just immediately just do your 1+4. 1+4, as we all know, on hit, they're +4 and force crouch. There's a whole lot of options you can do there. It's about conditioning, and the easiest way to condition online, where you can see very fast results on your conditioning, is to do the dumb stuff first. Okay, so now we're facing the opponent that likes to backdash into sidestep, a little backdash into sidestep. Down back 2 isn't really the best for that, because down back 2 is 24 frames, I believe. It's a little slow. Yeah, it's a little too slow. They did, however, buff the hitbox on her down 4-3. So oftentimes you'll catch people stepping most directions. It really just depends on the overall situation. I think let me set mine to... Okay, I can't backdash with him. Okay. No, it's not. It's early, y'all. There we go. Just a little back up and a side step. Yep. I'm so bad at labbing sometimes. Yeah, but you see, couldn't sidestep it. Most people on this game, for some reason, they'll do like the micro-ish sidesteps and think they're doing something. You won't fight people that actually commit to like a deep sidestep until you get to higher ranks. And for that, let's set it to a sidewalk. The reason why I'm setting it to a sidewalk because a backdash sidestep, the same thing will happen on a sidewalk as it would in that scenario. It's way more defensive to backdash than sidewalk. One in the guard. Yep. Mhm. So the notorious thing of Nina being weak to sidestep left, that doesn't come into play with her down 4-3. Her down 4-3 tracks pretty well to sidestep and sidewalk left now. Okay, so I'm back and I set Nina to do jab down forward 1-2 and jab down forward 3. Her one jab. So okay. Launch punishable. Launch punishable. See what I mean? If you know your opponent is going to be backdashing a lot, you have to do something different to close in the gap. Look how long range that is. I have to block anyway. Now, is it true that you really can't do anything because he blocked the down 4-3? No. You can still complete the string, and this comes to just paying attention and downloading what your opponent likes to do. You can dash in if they're not going to punish the down 4-3. Down 4-3 is minus 11 on block, but it is a string follow-up, so it's not really smart to punish it. But you have options you can do there. But what you've done is you made it such that that backdash block, that backdash duck won't work, so you condition them. So the next time you do down forward 1-2 after like a jab, or you have the frame advantage, you won't have to deal with that that backdash duck or that sidestep duck, whichever defensive route your opponent wants to go with that. She also can do, if you want to play it safer, she also can do 1+4, which is what I always want for you guys to think about doing to close in the gap, because it does have good range and it is a safe mid that's only -5 on block. Yep. 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 Can't backdash it. So those are the things that you have to think about when approaching with Nina. You just have to think about your longer range mids and mids with good tracking, at least to one direction, and specifically, the direction not being weak to sidestep left, as most people play on P2. As most people play on P1. So now I'm going to discuss a move that a lot of you guys are wondering why I haven't mentioned yet, and not that. Instant while running 1+2. When you're like right here, it's gonna get sidewalked. But if you can do it, pretty much at like range 2.7, 2.9, which it takes some execution. It's least likely to get stepped. But as we all know, while 1 plus 2 is a double-edged sword, just because you got to connect doesn't mean that you get to bully your opponent. They can backdash almost all of Nina's options after blocking while running 1 plus 2. With that said, it is really good to do up close because they're not expecting it. You think of this as like a Claudio insta while running 2, drag, no, insta while running 1 with Claudio, excuse me, Dragunov, forward 4-2, just all plus on block pressure moves that comes out of like an instant running. It's a good pressure tactic. It's a good pressure tool just to lab and be able to do from time to time. You can still sidestep it, but it's harder the closer you are to them. It's easier the further away you are to them. Another move to close the gap is 4-4-4, and you want to tech roll, be better than me. You want to tech roll, be better than me. Like, there we go. But when you do it from that far, if you watched how to frame trap with Nina, you will see that doing 4-4-4 from like a range makes it -17 on block. If they were to block it, if it whiffs, you tech, you risk yourself of being launch punishable. If it whiffs and you just stay on the ground and they auto try to hop kick you, then the hop kick will whiff and you can just you can wake up. But if you do tech, you running the risk of getting launched if it whiffs. So that isn't the best approach, but if you can get it to connect on block, it is now a knowledge check. So it's not do they know Nina, do they know that this is -17 from so far away they can launch me. Yeah, game, test it out, see if it works for you. But that also isn't the best approach. Also, something that isn't such a good approach to do is Evil Mist. It is an unblockable high. It's also like 30 frames. Oh wait, I'm not switch positions. There we go. I can't do Evil Mist for some reason. There we go. 22 frames that came out, but it can come out. There we go. Up to 38 frames. It's insanely. It's kind of slow. And you're better than me. You can actually do it on, command. I have my days with Evil Mist. Some days I can always get it. Some days I can't. And today is one of those days I can't always get it. It's not the best approach. If you want to approach with something slow like that, I would suggest down back 2. But other than that, doing Evil Mist as an approach tool isn't the best. It's a quick duck. They may not be able to launch you because they may not try to launch you because of the block stun. But it's easy. You eat my full crouch low, or you eat my little 13 frame while standing punish or my while standing forward, and that puts you back at minus frames. So you have to block in this. It would be wisest to block in that situation. Other bad approach tools. L4 3+4. It's bad. However, if you got the read on your opponent and how they're approaching, or the fact that they just are turtling you and they're going to just counter hit you with this mid, from about right here, It's dumb, but it is a better approach than, you know, not that, but while running 1+2, 4, or Evil Mist. It is the better approach of all of those. You do run the risk of being floated with jabs, but if you know your opponent is flow charting, it's a good call out on the flow chart. Still not the best approach tool. Some other okay approach tools. These aren't bad approach tools. They're just okay. Um, and they're okay for the type of move that they are. Um, 4-4-2, it's okay. It comes out of 14 frames out of your forward input. It is a high. It is safe on block. Okay approach tool. Her while standing 4. Just to close in the gap, if you want to like dash in into like some execution. It is kind of a shorter range while standing 4. However, it tracks both ways pretty well, and it does have a string follow up. There we go. Oh, I have it set to sidewalk. Side step. There we go. It does track sidestep really well, so it is a good approach tool to closing the gap when they're backdashing, or if you want to close in a close gap when you're at like range, almost range 3. It's good to throw out here and there. Another good tool to use to close in the gap is sidestep 1+2. It does come out of a sidestep, and if you sidestep the direction you think they're going to try to whip punish you with, it's a good chance this may whiff. That move may whiff, and your sidestep 1+2 will connect. It is pretty long range. It is -11 on block, but most people can't punish it. And it does lead to a full combo with a dashing execution. It's good for what it is. It's okay, albeit it is almost 20 frames out of a sidestep, so it's really like 23, 24 frames actually. Good move to close in the gap, or good move to whiff punish within the gap. Like I said, most people aren't going to punish this, and or most people can't punish this. Excuse me. So this one, they're going to jab after it. That's when you implement your backsway. And now the advantage is back in your favor. As far as lows, sidestep 4. Again, it comes out of the sidestep, and it's about 24, 25 frames. But it does crush way before then. Albeit at -14, it's a good low to catch them backdashing away from your pressure, or backdashing away because they just don't want to deal with Nina, or backdashing just because they're backdashing for the sake of backdashing, because backdashing is how you play high-level Tekken with your backdashing. But albeit most characters don't have an I-14 launcher, I-14 launcher with good range, as I'm hitting this at tip range. It's a good low to throw out there to mix up from the mids. The last approach tool is QCF1. Most Ninas try to abuse this. It's only really +1 on block, but she closes in a lot of space. Can't beat it for that for what it is, and albeit that it is only +1 on block, it's hard to bully people, but it is really good to remind people that Nina is plus there by backswing after it, as most Ninas like to continue attacking after they block this. So after you close in the gap, you know you can do a back sway or sidestepping. So I believe I covered all of Nina's approach tools. These Nina videos are long because she just has so many damn moves. She does. She has so many damn moves. And so many good moves. They are good moves. Even though I do complain about some things with this character, like that shouldn't be -11, should be -9. But you know, I'm not going to go into that. Yeah, go in practice mode, lab these approach moves, and have fun.
Good win, player. You did.
What's done is done.